As Thailand moves towards easing restrictions and a more streamlined reopening, the country has decided it wants to waive arrival quarantine for 5 countries. Details on this and many more stories coming up in today's program. Welcome to the Thaiger channel, and you're watching Thailand News Today, your news roundup for stories in Thailand and beyond. In a statement kicking off the CCSA meeting yesterday, PM Prayut Chan-o-cha declared that the country is ready to reopen and that it is time to let people in the tourism sector get back to work again. Just 2 weeks before the mass reopening, the US, UK, Germany, China, and Singapore are the likely candidates for the first countries that could be allowed to enter the kingdom without quarantine. The plan was decided yesterday, but details on the full list of countries and related procedures are still being hashed out, and the information released so far is technically, theoretically, in principle, only. The waiver of quarantine for fully vaccinated travelers from these countries will be implemented on a 2-month trial basis from November the 1st to December the 31st. Currently, the reopened arrival destinations only include Phuket, Koh Samui, and select areas of Krabi and Phang Nga. Bangkok is on the top of the list for the reopening in 2 weeks. Further, all of Krabi and Phang Nga will be reopened, as well as Hua Hin and Samut Prakan, with limited access only to arrivals at Suvarnabhumi Airport. On December the 1st, another 16 provinces would be reopened for international travel, including Chiang Rai, Lamphun, Mae Hong Son, Phrae, and Sukhothai. The CCSA spokesperson added that the list of provinces that will be reopening in 2 weeks and in December have yet to be fully finalized. The notorious and much-maligned certificate of entry is on its way out, with a digital Thailand Pass set to replace the COE for most, but not all people from November the 1st. But is it just same but different? Critics are already saying the COE paperwork is just being replaced by a digital set of procedures before travelers can travel to Thailand. The Digital Government Development Agency say they are working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to create an online system to replace the COE process for international flight arrivals. The Thailand Pass would be a replacement for international arrivals, both foreign and Thai, who enter the country by air. A spokesperson for the ministry added that those entering by land or by sea would still require the COE. The web-based Thailand Pass application would guide people through the process of gathering and uploading all the necessary documents for entry. The digitizing of the immigration process is meant to address the challenges of expanded documentation requirements, including vaccination certification, but it will also help facilitate the filing of the traditional TM6 immigration form as well as the T8 health declaration form. Before the development of the new Thailand Pass, the Foreign Affairs Ministry had approved over 400,000 entry applications for people to travel internationally to Thailand. The COE has often been maligned as a difficult process that is driving away potential visitors to Thailand and hurting programs like the Phuket Sandbox.
More of Thailand News Today in just a moment, but I'm here with Sean Stenning from 5-Star Marine at Koh Gai. Sean, one thing I've really noticed touring around today is the water clarity is amazing.
Yeah, not just the water clarity, but also the marine life has really come back in the last 18 months. You know, we're seeing regularly dolphins. Nearly every day we're seeing dolphins on the sea. We did see the first sighting of a whale shark in this area for the month. This is the season for that. And so it's like the water clarity, the coral, the marine life, all of it's like it's never been before, which is just fantastic.
So at the moment we've got a situation where there's not many people coming to Thailand and back to Phuket, so it's a sort of a magical time where you're really seeing the islands like they were before the mass tourism really started.
Well, you know, I've been here 15 years and I just don't think I've seen the water clearer. I don't think I've seen the marine life more active, and I certainly haven't seen the coral more alive.
So it's really literally like you see in the postcard pictures. It is a beautiful place at the moment. The islands are amazing, and you can come to little places like this and have a little exclusive lunch. So if you'd like to come back to Thailand, come back to Phuket, see the islands, you know what to do.
Last night, a giant celebration marked the end of the 9-day annual Phuket Vegetarian Festival. The traditional fireworks-heavy parade made its way through Phuket town, with devotees either marching or traveling by motorcade. Midnight marked the hour at which observers were able to once again eat meat. Processioners marched through the streets for hours carrying flags and shrines, while members of the crowd threw firecrackers. Many small tables were set up in the road with offerings to the Ma Songs and their helpers. The Phuket Vegetarian Festival is known for its Ma Songs. These spiritual devotees will self-mutilate, slicing their cheeks and tongues with swords, knives, and spikes. They will then march for hours, the intention being that through their pain, they can achieve a holy and spiritual state. The Ma Song have helpers who follow them along to clean up their blood and pat them down with towels so that they don't catch on fire from the many fireworks being thrown. This year, certain COVID measures were in place, such as requests that people wear masks and practice social distancing. The Ma Songs were also asked to either ride by motorcade or not engage in any activities that may result in the spread of the virus. Observers crowded the roadsides to throw firecrackers and receive blessings from the Ma Song as they walked by. At midnight, a massive bonfire was lit. A somewhat more subdued celebration will take place today, with shrines holding ceremonies to lower the Goteng poles, which were raised to mark the official beginning of the festival. The final closing ritual of the festival will be held at 10 p.m. tonight in Sapan Hin Park. Devotees from each of the shrines will gather to perform blessing ceremonies. The purpose of these ceremonies is to call the Jade Emperor and the 9 Emperor gods to return to the heavens. The final lowering of the Goteng poles marks the conclusion of the celebrations until next year. Yesterday, the CCSA approved a proposal from the Public Health Ministry to procure a new oral treatment for COVID patients. The ministry plans to purchase 50,000 courses of the antiviral molnupiravir drug developed by pharmaceutical firm Merck. The proposal now goes to Cabinet for final approval. The news was confirmed by CCSA spokesman Dr. Tawisin Wisanu-Yotin, who would not be drawn on price or delivery times. I wonder why. According to a report, Merck has been accused of overcharging for the drug with a 5-day course of treatment priced at $712. Analysts at Harvard and King's College London say the production cost is around $1.74 per capsule, equating to $17.74 for a full course of treatment. Therefore, the official quoted price marks a 4,000 markup, according to the Center for Economic and Policy Research. In related news, Tawisin says the Public Health Ministry plans to procure another 125 million COVID vaccines this year, which includes 62.5 million doses of the Sinopharm vaccine and the long-awaited Moderna vaccine. The CCSA spokesman says officials expect to reach a milestone of at least half of the population vaccinated this month, or 70% of those living in COVID-free parts of the country. Thailand is planning on throwing a massive extravaganza to celebrate the country's reopening. The Tourism and Sports Ministry is planning on hosting concerts in Bangkok and Phuket with a budget of up to 600 million baht. The concerts, if confirmed, will feature famed Italian tenor Andrea Bocelli and Thai singer Lisa Manoban from the famous K-pop band Blackpink. The Tourism Authority of Thailand has requested for the artists to perform as part of the New Year's celebration and is waiting to hear back from their agents. If it is indeed a go, Lisa will be singing in Phuket at the Sarasin Bridge, while Andrea Bocelli will be performing in Bangkok at the Sanam Luang Public Square. Minister Pipat Ratchapkitprakarn says bringing the two artists to the country is beyond economic value, but added that COVID proposals must also be taken into account. He said the Tourism Ministry will need to discuss with the Public Health Ministry the numbers of audience members allowed and other health and safety protocols for such big events. Singapore's vaccinated travel lane scheme has approved travelers from 8 different countries to enter the country without quarantine as long as they are vaccinated. So far, around 2,400 people have been approved to enter under the new guidelines. The application process commenced last Wednesday, with travelers being officially allowed to enter this Tuesday. Such countries that made the list include the US, the UK, and France. While the pass has been popular, only 30% are tourists visiting the country for a short period of time. The rest are either students or employees on long-term visas. Vaccinated Singaporeans and permanent residents can enter the country automatically under the program. The Asia-Pacific head of communications at Expedia described how Singaporean interest in traveling abroad has skyrocketed since announcing the plan last week. The top destinations considered for international travel are the US, the UK, and South Korea. And that wraps up our report for today, but check out the video that just popped up to continue watching shows on the channel. Thailand News Today will be back on Monday. Meanwhile, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.